Yo guys, welcome back to Shoutcast Up, and today I have an amazing video, a collab with Faris Dent. Say hi.
Hello guys, how are you? My name's Faris. I have another channel, Faris Dent, and if you'd like to check it out, check the description down below, and let's get into this.
Geez, so what we are doing is top 5 tips for, wait, what's the title?
Oh yeah, what is this?
5 things you should know before you apply dentistry. So let's get straight into it. So, point number 1, you might not get in the first time. And this definitely applies to me. I'm not sure about Faris, because he's just amazing going first time.
What you call an icon living?
Now I'm joking. I think a lot of people, you know, they just want to get in first time and think, oh, if I don't get in first time, I'm a failure, I've done something wrong. And that's just not the case. It's not an easy degree to get into, and there's going to be some struggles you have along the way. And I'll tell you now, like, you have to get used to failure, because if you do dentistry, you're going to fail at one point. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. You might be a genius, you might be the best, you know, composite maker in the world, but there's always going to be issues. So don't be worried if you don't get in first time. It's a very normal thing. And like half my course are postgrads anyway, so it's not that deep.
And I was also going to say, like, you see in dentistry, there's literally so many hurdles, and if you like, accomplish all of them, like, eventually the satisfaction you get when you're actually there is crazy. Like, Faris can 100% relate to that. Even like it's ridiculous, and like when you're there, it like makes you want to work even more hard because you've got past all these hurdles.
That's so true, because at the end of the day, if it was easy, you know, you wouldn't really have that satisfaction when you get something hard done. Like that's where you get your satisfaction done. You're like, okay, this was really challenging, I overcame the challenge, and now I've got the rewards at the end. And that's kind of what you do throughout the whole process of dentistry. So don't get disheartened if you don't get first time. Don't think you're a failure, because that is 100% not true. It's just one of the hurdles that you have to overcome in the future.
The main thing is like being aware it's really hard to get in, and being aware that if you don't get in the first time, you can try and try again, because if you really want dentistry, you'll try again, won't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on to the next point, good GCSEs are really important. Now, I don't want this point to be misinterpreted. Like, I feel like when people ask me questions like, oh, like, what GCSEs do you need? You don't need, well, there are like certain requirements, but you don't need like really, really high ones. And I think unis vary in terms of like what they want.
This is one of those that it's just, it helps. That's how I kind of describe it. You have to remember that everything is weighted in different ways, and unis have different things that they look for, but in general, your GCSEs, your A-levels, your UCAT, they're quite important when it comes to the dental application. And as long as you meet the minimum requirements, it's fine, but it will help if you do have slightly higher GCSEs, because at the end of the day, you know, this is life, it's competitive, and you're competing against other people that are also applying for dentistry and other people that have very high GCSEs. So yeah, main thing I'd say is don't be super disheartened if you don't have the best GCSEs in the world, but at the same time, try and strive to get those high GCSEs, because it will just make your life a little bit easier and might make the application process a bit, you know, smoother.
Applying to uni, they like look at it holistically. So for example, your GCSEs are looked at, but there are other parts of your application that can like boost it up and make you like get into the uni. And that actually moves on to like my next point. So the UCAT actually shapes your application. And I feel like there's a really high agenda about, like, for example, 700 is like the score you need to like get into uni. But it's just,
my god. Oh.
It really annoys me as well. It's because, you know what it is?
It's just so annoying.
It is what it is. You see on the student room, yeah, where people say, oh, like, what UCAT did you get? Everyone puts like 700. Everyone thinks that's what you need to get in.
Oh my. Student room is toxic. Stop looking at the student room. They're all liars. Trust me, it's actually horrible, because it makes you like nothing good ever comes out of the student room. Okay, that's a lie, but still, like when it comes to the UCAT,
I feel like there's 2 types of people that go on it. I think there's people that are really worried that the scores aren't good, and also there's people that did really well that want to go on it to like boost their ego in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Gas themselves
literally that.
Yeah, 100%.
And another thing that I think is really confusing, like before like, I applied, I had no idea what UCAT was. I had no idea like what my score meant. But the most important thing is that you need to look at is the percentile is actually really important that you're in. And the way, you know, like unis, when they specify what they want, they kind of say like, oh, okay, so the top 3rd percentile is what like we look at. And so when you ask those questions about like UCAT, like kind of remember that that's what they look at the most, and that will give you information about what percentiles they want, but we don't know the exact score that they want.
Every year is different, and that's why it's hard to say, oh, this score this year is good. Just look at the percentiles, look at the where you kind of rank. That's kind of how I think of it, and you can kind of make deductions off of that. But at the end of the day, it's holistic. As long as you've got a good application overall, you should hopefully have a decent chance. You know, I'm sure me and Sophie, like, we have these same issues, yeah? We get asked, okay, what do you need to get into dentistry? And it's like, well, you do need the A's, and you do need a good UCAT, and you need a good personal statement, but at the end of the day, it generally is holistic. Like, it's very hard to pinpoint the exact things you need. As long as you're hitting the requirements that you need, everything else is extra. Some universities are gonna look at a low UCAT and say, nope, that's not for us. Other universities might say, okay, they haven't got the best UCAT, but they've got high A levels, so we're gonna give them an interview. So it's a bit hard to predict, and that's why we always say, do your research, look at what the weighting is, look at what the universities are kind of looking for, and then make your decision off of that. And as we said before, like, Sophia's got some posts on it, I've got some posts, and I'm sure there's a lot of resources online where you can find out more about, you know, what to do with a low UCAT or low A levels, etc., etc.
So this leads on to my next point. every dental school is good. Like, I hate the fact that some people say like, oh, like, I didn't get there, so I have to go to like this place. Like, there's no such thing as a downgrade. Every single uni does dentistry for a reason because they're like so good at it.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of had this agenda before, like before applying. I was like, oh, I have to get into King's, I have to get into Queen Mary's. But I went to Sheffield, Plymouth, and I think every dental school is so good, and they like good in different areas.
100%. Yeah, you know why they're all so good? Because before anyone comes in the comments and says, oh no, that's not true, there's this. They're all regulated by the GDC. So when you graduate, you're going to be a dentist. That is all you need. And that's how you know that there's a relative standard of teaching. Like, you're gonna be graduating with a certain standard, and that's been regulated by the GDC. So they're all good schools, you're gonna be fine. Stop worrying about this school or that school. The most thing I think is important is you have to like the actual university and like the area it's in, because you're gonna be spending 5 years there. So if you think, oh, King's is the best uni, I wanna go there, but you hate London, why are you going there? Like, you're not gonna have a good time, bro. Like, just go somewhere that you enjoy and do your research.
That's what I'm saying. I think most of the thing about unis is like the location. Like, for example, if you're in a location, it doesn't mean the uni's not good. Like, all the unis are amazing. And I feel like, if you're the first year that I applied, I was thinking to myself that, oh, I have to get into King's, I have to get into Queen Mary's, and I was kind of like, I don't want to go anywhere else. But then in the second year, I was like, I realised how hard it is to get into dentistry, and that every dental school is equally as good. And when I went to the open days the second year, I realised that I was being so like narrow-minded, and I wasn't opening myself up to all these other amazing unis that there were apart from King's.
It's kind of the situation where we're in a privileged position. We're like, oh, we've got all these schools to apply to. Oh, this is the best one, I have to go to this one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not like that, because you're being taught that's to the same standard. You really are. Of course there's going to be differences, and there's going to be things that you prefer over other unis. Like, the main thing I'd say with the uni differences is like location and the teaching style. So look into those. But in terms of the actual quality, there's no uni that I can confidently say is bad when it comes to the dentistry or dental teaching in the UK. So
yeah, 100%. This leads on to my next point. Interviews should excite you and not scare you. Like, I know this is something that, for example, is easier said than done, but this is a chance for you to show off how good you are, why you should be a dentist, and like what makes you perfect for this uni. And this is kind of, before my first interview, I was so scared. I was thinking like, oh, this is so scary. And it was at MMI for King's, and like the first station, I was so scared, but the interview I was literally so scared. But then like, as soon as like I started talking, I was realising that this is me selling myself. This is me showing to them like my personality and why I deserve to be here. And also, before you get an interview, you do UCAT, GCSEs, like getting the actual interview offer. So you kind of like feel like you deserve to be there, and this is your chance to like show off your personality.
I feel like we're always like really cynical, like, oh no, this is gonna go badly. Oh, I'm so scared. Like, but as Sophie just said, you've gone through so much to get to that interview. It's not like you just thought, okay, I'm just gonna write 4 unis and I'm gonna go, you know, when I feel like it. No, you've done those A-levels, you've done your work experience, you've sourced different things, you've done your research, EPQ, whatever you've done to get to that stage. And with this idea of excitement, I think it's just a change of mindset, because it's good to be nervous, because it shows that you care about what you're going for, basically. But at the same time, that nervousness should fuel excitement. So you should be feeling, okay, well, I'm scared about this a bit, but you know what? At the end of the day, if I do this well, I'm going to get a place at this university, and this is my dream, and I've worked so hard to get here. And I think that can unfortunately be the downfall for a lot of people. It's just that you're thinking, okay, it's just going to go wrong. Well, don't think that. Think, okay, there's some things that might go wrong, but this is the preparation I've done. This is what I've done to prepare for this. So hopefully, if it all goes well, or if, you know, just follow what I've done, it's all going to be good. So.
And I was also going to say, like, you see, for interviews, like the first one I had kind of prepped me for the rest of the interviews I had, like in the future.
Yes.
And I feel like there's a big thing, even in dental school right now, like, I feel like I kind of have imposter syndrome, but at the same time I reverse that by saying to myself, I deserve to be here. And that's the same for like dentistry interviews. You deserve to be there. You've worked so hard to get your interview offer, and now you're there. This is your chance to shine and show them like who you are and why you deserve to be there.
Yeah. Whenever someone says, oh, like, oh, I'm worried about this, or I don't deserve to be, like, this whole idea with the imposter syndrome, especially when it comes to the application, I just tell them something really straight up. I'm just like, okay, this uni doesn't care about you. In terms of the fact that they don't know who you are. They've seen your application and they're basing it off of statistics, they're basing it off of personal statement, they're basing it off of things that they can quantify. So you've reached that stage because you've put the hard work to hit those requirements. So stop thinking about, oh, I don't deserve to be here. Yes, you do, or else you wouldn't have had the interview.
At the same time, if you are worried, like, do come to us and like, we'll come for you. We won't be cynical, you know what I mean?
Sometimes you're gonna have a bad interview as well. That's one other thing I'd say. Like, we're not saying, oh, if you're gonna be excited, you're gonna have a great interview. You might just have a bad interview.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't mean that you're a bad applicant. That's the key distinction. So yeah, just bear that in mind, guys.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it. If I saw this video before I applied, I think I'd be in so much good stead. Like, I would have known all these things. Like, I didn't even know about the UCAT before I applied. Like, how bad is that?
We're sorting everyone out, man. We're getting them ready for dental school.
So that has been me, Shaq Upstuff, and
Faris Dent.
And I'll see you guys in the next amazing video. Goodbye.